Hello and welcome to another Essex Boys Murder video. In this video, I'm going to carry on with what Billy Jasper said in his podcast on the Sean Atwood YouTube channel. He mentions in that podcast how the flying squad set people up in order to get a conviction by planting evidence on them or fabricating evidence in order to get a conviction. I don't know who these flying squad officers were, but other people have come forward recently and said they were stitched up by flying squad officers. A few years ago on someone else's podcast, Steve Gillen said he had been set up by the flying squad back in the day. DC Wolfgang Bird, who was Darren Nichols' police handler, was in the flying squad during the 1980s and early 90s. He was under investigation for police corruption, but no charges were brought against him. He then took up a position at Braintree Police Station, and that's how he became Darren Nichols' handler. The people who were arrested for the Group 4 security robbery in 1989 were found guilty, but later released after their successful appeals and were paid compensation due to being fitted up. When two of the accused arrived back from holiday in Spain, they were arrested at the airport. When they were in the back of the police cars, the police officers verbally set them up, and it was used as evidence to convict them at their trial. Another person arrested in connection with that robbery was Dave Causton. Flying squad officers burst into his property in a dawn raid. His partner at the time had to stay upstairs with the police officers while Dave Causton was under arrest downstairs in the kitchen area. A piece of paper about the robbery was planted in his property when flying squad officers searched it, and he was duly arrested. He'd never seen this piece of paper before, and by then he'd realised he'd been set up by the flying squad officers, and it was used as evidence to convict him at the trial. He too was released upon appeal along with another person in connection with that robbery in 1989. All four men who were arrested in connection with that Group 4 security robbery in 1989 and found guilty won their appeals due to the flying squad falsifying evidence, fabricating evidence, and using unlawful verbal evidence. So, just going back to what Billy Jasper said on that Sean Atwood podcast, there is some truth in what he says about flying squad officers setting people up back then. Billy openly admits on there that he's been a career criminal for decades and knows how the flying squad set up criminals back then. I don't know who these flying squad officers were, but there seemed to be a familiar pattern with them setting people up in order to get convictions. So that's it for this particular video. If you want, you can join my Facebook group called The Real Essex Boys Murder Group. So until next time, take care.